Okay, for this video, I'm gonna give my official predictions on WrestleMania 42, which is gonna suck. Now, I'm not sure if this is the official match card for night 1, night 2. I'm getting this off Wikipedia. And by it being Wednesday, it may be official. It may be official, but night 1, the first match, of course you got to get the crowd yeeting. You know, if they come out, it's just us Uce instead of it's just me Uce. Like, they're trying to make Jimmy Uso, you know, get that Jey Uso rub, but it's not happening. So you got the Vision, Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and I Show Speed. And it says with Paul Heyman. Is Paul Heyman gonna come out with them? I don't know. Versus the Usos and LA Knight. You know, to my surprise, I'm gonna say this match is gonna be good. I'm pretty sure they're gonna do some out of the box stuff. You know, Logan Paul always has something kind of up his sleeve when it comes to, I want to say, like he did that drone thing where he had like that drone camera kind of like land like in his hand, and he hit that like suplex or something like that. Or he's gonna jump, you know, from the ring to the table. You know, I would think, you know, they gotta give us something. You know, they have to give us something to make up for how crappy all of these storylines has been. So, my official prediction, I'm gonna say the Vision wins. The Vision needs that gold. So the Vision's gonna win. I cannot see LA Knight and the Usos winning. Which this isn't for the tag team championships. This is just a match at WrestleMania. Okay, moving on. So we got the Vision going over match 1. Match 2, Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre in an unsanctioned match. What is an unsanctioned match? Is it because they're not medically cleared or something? Like, what is the unsanctioned match for? You know, is it supposed to be, you know, Falls Count Anywhere? Hardcore, no DQ, you know, what is it about? You know, and they ruined, you know, I'm not going to get too much into it, but they ruined this feud. If they would have kept this feud up and made it to where, you know, Jacob was the one, well, Drew was the one that attacked Jacob. No, they randomly gave that to Tama Tonga. Like, are they crazy? You randomly gave one of the biggest plot lines of who attacked Jacob, made it come out to be Tama Tonga, and Jacob, like, you're looking right in front of him. Like, hey, like, what had to be done, had to be done. And Jacob Fatu does nothing about it. So what is he still, so why are we fighting Drew? You know, the tables have turned. It should be, damn, Drew, like, you didn't attack me. You know, you didn't bust my teeth out of my mouth. You know, that, and it should be Tama Tonga versus Jacob Fatu. But nope. instead of playing into it, you know, we see why Drew McIntyre is mad. Like, I wasn't the one that attacked you. And you ruined my shot. Actually, that didn't happen. Actually, Jacob Fatu is the reason Drew won the title. So I'm going to take that back. But they're probably going to give this to Jacob Fatu. I think Jacob Fatu is probably going to win because even though Drew McIntyre, they put the belt on him, I think Fatu has to go over. Next, you got Stephanie versus Liv. Liv is probably going to get the title. You know, it's I don't want to say it's been long overdue. Stephanie's title reign was barely anything good. I mean, Naomi's title reign was short, but it was gonna be on a roll. But you know, we really wanted to see that Stephanie versus Naomi. That would have been good. And I mean, Stephanie versus Liv, they got some heat and all of that. They progressing, but I mean, it's just been brawl, sit down, talk, boring. You know, you talking about my family. No, we just don't care. Like, I don't know who cares about it. You know, but Liv is probably going to get it. AJ Lee versus Becky. Another thing, we don't care. We saw that this is the problem. We saw AJ Lee versus Becky a million times already. And it's for the Intercontinental Championship, the women's. But it should have been career versus title match, you know, or something like that. Like, it should have been something. It needed a more heavier stipulation for us to care about it. And I think Becky is gonna get over. I think she's gonna win because AJ Lee is a part-timer. Unless AJ Lee plans on being here the next 3 years, she not keeping that title. So I'm gonna give that one to Becky. Number 5 is the women's tag team match. Boy, night 1 is really sucking so far. The women's tag team division, you know, ever since Jade and Bianca dropped them titles, no one cares. They've been playing, people should care, but they don't. It's just been meaningless brawls, meaningless, you know, single match that turns into a brawl, single match that turns into a brawl, tag team match that turns into a brawl. You know, if they were, what would have made this match, made this people cared, if they would have made this a ladder match. You know, if they would have made this a ladder match or a TLC match, I think people would have been hyped for it. Because you have a fatal 4-way tag that's a normal match. It should have been TLC and let them go hard, or ladder. But I just hope the Irresistible Forces win. Because they you know, Lash needs to win. Nia doesn't necessarily need to win. Or let Bayley and Lyra get it. But then you have Bayley and Lyra with the titles. Finally, you know, Bayley gets some shine. But Bayley should be in, you know, Bayley should be either in the Intercontinental or the Women's World Heavyweight. You know, they got her in the tag team division. Just give Bayley the tag team belts. You know, let them hold them till SummerSlam or something. Then you got Seth versus Gunther. No one cares. Again, no one cares. Will this be a good match? I think it is, because when they had their little brawl segments, it seemed like Gunther and Seth had some chemistry. I'm not gonna lie. Seemed like they had some chemistry with the moves, per se. Hopefully no one gets injured. Because when was the last time Seth wrestled? When was the last time Gunther wrestled? But I'm going to give this one to Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins going to win this. Because why would Seth Rollins not win this match? Or Gunther could win with a spear or something from Braun Breaker if he's back. And then we have Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. Randy Orton has to win. If Randy Orton doesn't win, he might as well go get that Gunther retirement package. You know, if Randy Orton loses, go get that Gunther retirement package and leave WWE. And that's that. I'm not even elaborating on all of that other stuff. If Randy Orton loses, half of the WWE is going to lose their audience. At least 25% will stop watching wrestling for this garbage. You know, Cody Rhodes, man, there's so much potential you could have done with this stuff, and they just ruined it. But Randy has to win. I'm not going to say Cody's going to win. Randy has to win. Night 2. Oba versus Brock. I knew that was going to be the first match for night 2. You know, really, this should be night 1 main event. But night 2, first match, Brock versus Oba. This is tough. I want to say Brock is going to win. The only reason I think Brock is going to win, like I said, I made that video before about what the number 42 symbolizes. You know, I think Brock going to win. Brock never hit Obafemi with the F5. Brock is going to hit Obafemi with the F5. And he's going to get that 3 count. You know, Brock Lesnar doesn't need the win, but Brock Lesnar has been getting pinned, you know, for a while. So, you know, he lost at War Games and all of that. But Brock don't need the win, but will Brock give up the win? I know he been trying to put over Oba, but I think Brock. I think they're gonna let Brock win this, and then they're gonna run it back, maybe Backlash. Now this six-man ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship came out of the blue. No one cares. There's no story built up to this. They took the belt off of Dominic at the wrong time. But I guess they had to, you know, to make this feud with the Demon, which I'm going to get to that later. But Penta's going to win this match, or Rey Mysterio. I can't say... Rey Mysterio not winning, Penta winning. Because if Rey Mysterio wins that belt, he would have to hold it until a retirement match with Dominic, which is a possibility. You know, but I think Penta just got it. So why would Penta lose it and then lose his WrestleMania, you know, moment? Next, Jade Cargill versus Rhea. Jade has to win. Jade has to win. If Jade loses, you ruin everything. You know, Jade has to go on a tyrannical run as champion. So when she does face Bianca at a certain point, it can be seen as either Jade becomes the new, not EST, but it's like, hey, Bianca, you know, get in line. I'm new, you know, I'm the new sheriff in town, basically. Like, you was running stuff, but I've been undefeated. I beat everybody you beat. Now, the only person I ain't beat is Bianca yet. And Bianca could eat the pin. Bianca could eat the pin. You can have Bianca go on undefeated streak in the singles to get there to win Queen of the Ring and face Jade. At what is it, SummerSlam? I think the Queen of the Ring faces the person at SummerSlam. They can have their SummerSlam match and let Jade win that one. But Jade has to keep that belt until she faces Bianca. Now that's what the fans and everyone else is thinking. Is WWE creative thinking that? No, they're probably not even. It's like they don't even watch wrestling. It's like they have no clue how to make a story. But that Vince McMahon would do that. Vince McMahon would say, everyone that's facing Jade eating pins until Bianca comes. And then y'all gonna eat pins until, Jade and Bianca have that match. And then Bianca, you eating a pin. And then we can go from there. That's when the real story starts. But Jade gotta win. If Jade don't win and Rhea wins, then we get Rhea on SmackDown. And no one wants that. No one wants Rhea on SmackDown. Next, you got Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams. It's a damn shame Carmelo had to drop the belt, but I'm hearing Carmelo going on honeymoon and all of that stuff, been playing. I don't know how true that is. Somebody say he's injured or he's faking an injury. There is no reason Carmelo Hayes should not be at WrestleMania. There's no reason why he shouldn't. I don't know. Vince would have said, I don't give a damn about your honeymoon. You going to WrestleMania. His wife is on NXT, so she would understand. She would be like, hell no, we ain't going on no honeymoon. You about to wrestle at WrestleMania. So I don't know if they really going on a honeymoon and that's why he wanted to drop the belt or whatever. That's the dumbest thing ever. But I'm pretty sure that's not true. If it is, it's mind-blowing. But Trick gotta win. Sami Zayn could eat this pin. Trick needs this. Carmelo actually needs it more than Trick. If I was Carmelo, I would go to AEW. The writing on the wall. Now, can they build this up to a Trick versus Carmelo? That's the only way this makes sense. But I would have just done it to where you could have just did Trick versus Carmelo at WrestleMania. But like I said, with that number 42, Trick needs it, but Sami Zayn's gonna win. Sami Zayn is gonna beat Trick at WrestleMania. Next, you have the Demon Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. Why would you just outright, I guess they tried to sell tickets and, the Demon Finn Balor is going to get there. They ruined the surprise. That was going to be the surprise. That was going to be the entire surprise. And they just pooped on it. So now everyone is expecting the Demon Finn Balor. I would make Finn Balor come out there normal. Just because you ruined it. No one's going to be expecting him to come out there normal now. But Finn Balor is probably going to win. He's probably going to win. I don't know how, but Finn Balor is probably going to win. And then you have Punk versus Roman Reigns. This one, even if Roman wins, he's still going to be part-time. He's not going to show up to every Raw like CM Punk does. CM Punk comes at least to 3 Raws, 3 out of the 4 Raws in a month. Roman, if he wins that WWE Championship, It could be a good thing because then he gets to face Raw talent and the Usos are there. But for some reason, I just feel like Punk might. I don't know. That this is probably the hardest one. But if I was a betting man, Punk going over. Punk gonna win. Punk gonna win. Usos lose, Punk winning. Roman, I hate you and all of this stuff. Like, I don't know. Punk, you gotta think about like when Punk be wrestling, man, that dude kick out of everything. Like, that dude endurance is like 99. So I think Roman gonna hit Punk with everything. I don't think nobody gonna cheat because I don't see Roman really having any enemies right now. Unless the Vision gets involved. Unless Bronson Reed comes back and do like some tsunami nonsense. The Vision would have to get involved some kind of way for Roman to lose. That's the only thing. And I don't see anyone, coming back that's injured that has a beef with CM Punk or Roman. So outside interference would be hard to pull off. Like I say, unless Braun Breaker comes in, spears Punk or something, or misses and spears Roman by mistake. Like, that's the only thing is if... But then you could get it off with a DQ, but they don't want to do a DQ at WrestleMania. So I'm just going to say it just makes sense if Punk wins. Like, it just makes sense. If you get Roman the title, he gonna run it back with Punk probably at Backlash. And then what? It's like, I don't know. I just don't, like, if Roman gets the title, Raw is gonna be really garbage. Cause he gonna show up like once a month. He's gonna barely cut promos. He's just gonna aura form once a month on Raw. And the way they got storytelling going on is like, man, the only thing you can do if Roman wins is give him a feud with the Usos. Maybe you could get a nice feud with Jimmy Uso or something and boost him up. Honestly, maybe you could get some kind of feud, Roman versus LA Knight. Like, let LA Knight get a pin on Roman. Then you got Braun and Bronson that's out. They gonna be coming back. Is KO coming back to SmackDown or is he coming back to Raw? You got Seth. You might could do Roman versus Seth SummerSlam or something. Like, you know what? That might be a reason why Roman goes over. You know what? I'm gonna say Roman wins to get him off of SmackDown. Because if Roman loses, he has to go back to SmackDown and feud with like Randy Orton. We would watch that. We would be in favor for that. But I think if Roman stays on Raw, he's on the cover of Raw. If Roman stays on Raw, we might get a Seth feud. We might get a LA Knight feud. That's about it. I don't think we getting a Brock feud. We'll get that Vision feud. So yeah, I'm gonna give it to Roman. I think Punk and AJ Lee are both gonna lose their titles, and that might be a key for vacation, some off time for them. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with that. I'm gonna stick with that. AJ Lee and Punk losing their titles at WrestleMania because it's so trash. Man, like this WrestleMania, I don't know, for them to actually make this WrestleMania good, which they're out of time, it's gonna take like 5 comebacks to make this, feud, to make this feel like a WrestleMania worthwhile. But nah, it's gonna fail. Like, we all know it's gonna suck. That's a shame though, but I will be watching WrestleMania. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. This video has gone on for way too long. Over 25 minutes. But y'all just let me know, what are y'all predictions in the comment section. Peace.